What's going on, y'all? Corpus Christi Originals, back at it again, coming to you live from the Streamlabs studio, downtown Corpus Christi, Texas, at the Produce Sound Studios. And we had some technical difficulties on the live stream, so we're just recording it, and I'm going to post it later so you guys can check it out. Today we have Haley Wilson of LocalTxFoodie. What's going on?
Not much. What's up with you?
Not much. I've been liking this conversation we've been having so far.
Yeah, it's been good.
Yeah.
For sure. Get to know you.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. We're talking about Favor, your job at Favor, and then you're supporting local businesses, and that your day job at Favor helps you find places to like put content on your Instagram. Are you mainly on Instagram?
I'm mainly on Instagram. I have TikTok too, and I have Facebook. So it's kind of like those are the only three I really do anything on. Mm-hmm. And then I have my website too.
Okay. Do you feel like you have to have all three of those platforms?
I don't know. I feel like they all have their own followings. You know what I mean? Like they all kind of generate different audiences. Mm. So I think it's good to have them all. I don't think you have to, but I think it helps.
Yeah, that's cool. So it helps you. So you use them obviously for your business to help grow your business. That's the main reason for having those?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
And really the reason I started it, I've been doing social media for a long time. I just kind of always did it for fun, and it really still is just for fun. But I didn't get as serious about it until about 2 years ago, and that's when I started this page.
Oh wow.
And so I kind of use it. It's kind of just like my passion project. I like to highlight local businesses. I like to bring them more attention that they deserve. And, you know, kind of bring an audience of people who are like wanting to find new places to eat to restaurants that I personally like.
That's
so
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So your husband's saying that if they have canned Cokes, it's gonna be good food. Is that
He's always said that. I don't know, like we'll go into a place and they'll have just like a fridge with canned drinks. He's like, oh, I know this is gonna be good. I'm like, why do you say that? He's like, I don't know. Just every time I've been at a place with canned drinks, I know it's good. I'm like, yeah. Okay, and then he's always right. So I'm like, all right, okay. Yeah, I trust this weird judgment.
That's funny. Which place were y'all at anyway?
Pavani Express.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here in town, Southside?
Yeah, it's like connected to a gas station off of Tiger Lane. Yeah, so it's kind of like Castora's Tiger Lane over there, like heading towards the south side.
Awesome. That's cool.
Yeah, it's like a hole in the wall. Like,
wow.
It's really good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Is it what style of food is it?
Indian food.
Yeah. My wife just started getting into that stuff. I don't know what she ordered, but they had like lamb or something like that. Is that a normal meat choice they have there?
Yeah. Well, they do like chicken, lamb, goat. There you go. A lot of vegetables. Sometimes fish. Kind of just depends on the restaurant. Like I know Persis, they have salmon on their menu, so kind of just depends where you're at.
Yeah. How do you like develop like a taste thing to where, I don't know what you call it, but you have like a taste thing to where you appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? Because some people get stuck on Mexican food, like, you know, especially like my culture or whatever. Yeah. And then you taste like that Indian stuff. When I taste it, I was like, I was trying to eat it like Mexican food, right? Which is basically scarf it down. But this stuff, I was like,
you're like, oh, my sinuses are getting cleared out.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like a different kind of spice. You know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of times when people think of spice, like in food, they think of hot.
Yes.
But Indian food isn't always necessarily hot. But this, like, sometimes it is. Sometimes spicy in Indian food means hot. But sometimes it just means, like, a lot of spices. Oh. And sometimes, like, those spices, for me specifically, like clear out my sinuses. It's kind of like eating too much wasabi. Like you're like, oh, like, this is not good, but also it kind of feels good at the same time.
That's awesome. Yeah. So you were mentioning that you were kind of slacking on your content, but your content is cool. Like
thanks.
I seen it mostly on Instagram, and I just found you on Facebook. And most of your stuff is on Instagram, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, my main platform is definitely Instagram. I have to like push myself to remember to post on Facebook and to post on TikTok. Like if I'm posting just a photo, it will automatically post on my Facebook, but my reels don't automatically post to my page. So I have to like really remember to do it at the same time, and a lot of times I forget. So
right on. So how do you choose local businesses to highlight on your platform?
It really kind of just goes based on like what I feel like doing, I guess. I don't know. Like, I really want Indian food. Let me find an Indian place I haven't been to. And we don't have a lot of Indian restaurants here, so that may not be the best example. But like, oh, maybe I really want pho today. So where have I not been yet?
Yeah.
But at this point, I do get restaurants that reach out to me that want to partner with me and want me to feature them. I would say it's still like a heavy mix of actual partnerships and collaborations and me just showing people what I'm eating for lunch today.
That's so cool. So you're making money off of like not monetization, but them the restaurants paying you for it?
Not always. It just depends on the situation and what they want to negotiate with me. If they're reaching out to me specifically, sometimes it's, hey, can we just do this for trade? And so we'll give you $100 voucher towards a meal and you'll post for us or whatever. It kind of really just depends. But the more work it's going to take, the more likely I am to say like, hey, like I need some kind of money to make this, make sense for me because my time is valuable.
Exactly. Like
if I'm going to
spend
hours editing, like I can't always do that for free. And I would expect that most people will understand that because most people are not going to go to work for hours for free. Like, like if you're really passionate about it, like, I do some charity. I do work with some like local events and all my work planning those events is free. I'm not making any money off of that stuff.
Wow.
But I know that it's supporting local nonprofits. So in those cases, like, of course, like this is something I've signed up to do for free to begin with. If someone's reaching out to me specifically asking me to do work for them, more often than not, I do need to make some kind of money off of it. But I'm not out here looking to make like some kind of big profit. Really, my goal is just to build up local business and to share the places that I love.
Yeah. So what inspired your passion for supporting local businesses?
I think it really started with like growing up, like the way I grew up. So my mom started a business when I was in middle school.
Wow.
And so kind of just like watching all the hard work that goes into building a business and sustaining that, like so many hours, just, you work harder than anybody else, you know what I mean, when you run your own business.
Oh, yeah.
And so I guess just like seeing what goes into that kind of just ignited a passion for me. And so I feel like half my life I've been passionate about local business and supporting business and understanding why it's so important to support local over a big chain. Your money goes further with local. You know what I mean? It pays for their kids' T-ball. It pays for, making their business bigger. It pays for all kinds of things that you can't really fathom,
Yeah, that's awesome. Man, that's so awesome. Is there a memorable experience that you have visiting a local business? It's kind of hard to...
Yeah, that's hard.
Because there's a bunch of businesses.
Yeah. So earlier this year, I got invited to go to San Antonio for Bird Bakery's. I think it was their 12th birthday. Hopefully I'm right about that. And I got to meet the owner and she was just like super nice. Her name's Elizabeth Chambers and she actually just had a show on Hulu come out like shortly after I visited with her. So she was like nicer than I could imagine. So it was cool. It was a cool experience. I got to meet some other like San Antonio food influencers who have followed for a long time.
Nice.
So it was cool to like actually talk to them in person. So.
Yeah, there's like a market for it. Like, it's so interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you notice any trends in the local business scene in Corpus?
I don't know. I mean, I think you have a good kind of era of growth of people who are like wanting to change things and try new things and kind of just like step into a more modern era. And for Corpus, that's kind of unique because I think a lot of people that live here kind of always will agree that it always kind of feels like we're a little bit stuck in the past. So kind of seeing like a younger generation rise up and start new businesses and start pushing us into the future has been kind of cool.
Yeah. How do you feel about when businesses like don't kind of like make it and like, because businesses open up and close, you know what I mean? So
yeah, it's definitely like sad, you know what I mean? And I think I mean, it's pretty normal, honestly, across the board. Most restaurants don't make it, and that's just how statistically true. And a lot of things go into it. Most businesses are not going to be profitable in their first year, and if you're not ready for that, like, it's going to be tough. You know what I mean? And it's just the sad truth is that it's not easy to make it in the restaurant world. So you really have to be prepared for that. Yeah. So there's a lot of places that, you know, I've loved that I've seen go away despite, doesn't matter how good your food is. Sometimes it's not enough.
Oh. So. Man, is your mom's business still around? Like, oh, it is really?
Yeah, she's getting close to like 20 years.
Is it the food business or
no?
Business? Oh.
It's an e-commerce business.
Oh, really? Wow, she does it for other people. She does it for herself.
For herself, yeah. So cool. She has a warehouse here in town, and she's kind of gotten into manufacturing and stuff over the last year or so. And she also does like property management and stuff like that.
Man, that's awesome. Yeah. Yo, warehouse here in Corpus. That's cool. Manufacturing can you want to share more about that?
Sure. Yeah. So it's metal. So it's mostly like metal wall base. So like if you ever go somewhere and you kind of see like stainless steel at the bottom of the wall or corner protectors on the wall, or even like a metal sign that's like cut out. That's the kind of stuff that she does.
So all this, everything she makes is, I'm assuming, well, she's been in business for years. Wow. She probably got all kinds of customers. That's very interesting.
It's a heavy mix of like residential and commercial, and she also works with like a lot of architects, like you know, speccing out designs for new construction, like new hospitals, airports.
She's an engineer or
no, she just happens to supply the products. So she that's just
so awesome, man.
Works with people who actually do that kind of stuff.
Wow, it's like you create your own job, your own business, and man, that's amazing. Props to her.
And we work. I mean, I say I used to work for her. So it's really like pretty national and some international as well. But it's funny because people are like, oh, we're in Corpus. I'm like, well, like we're in Corpus, but we don't really do local sales. Yeah. She is trying to do more local sales as she starts to do more manufacturing herself, like, you know, in her warehouse. Yeah. But for most of my life, it's been like drop ship across the country.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Wow. Is she going to give the business to like one of you guys or
potentially? So I worked for her for a long time. And you know, like I grew up watching her build the business, so I know a lot about it. So eventually, more than likely, I will take it over, and kind of just, you know, depends on where my life goes. Yeah, you know, if you know, all else fails, we'll sell it or something.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, I always wonder, like, if these businesses that do exist for a long time, if they actually give them to their kids or if they sell it or.
Yeah, I think it really just depends. Yeah. I mean, having, you know, like a family business is pretty nice to be able to hand down to your kids as long as they know how to run it and sustain it. Like, it's, you know.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, keep on building on what you already spent all this time building. You know, like don't let it go.
Yeah, man, that's so awesome. So we were talking earlier before when we have technical difficulties about so you work at Favor Delivery. Shout out Favor if you guys. Yeah.
Shout out Favor and HEB.
Yeah, Favor and HEB. We shop at HEB often, and we get delivery from HEB. So Favor is exclusively the delivery for HEB?
Yeah, so HEB owns Favor, and they've owned it for about 6 years.
They own Favor, wow.
Yeah.
It's a Texas company?
Yeah, we're Texas only delivery company. So we're only in Texas. And I think that's part of what makes us so successful is that we're just really, really focused on what we're doing in one state.
That's amazing. Yeah, so it seems like that'd be a cool aspect because you're a local Texas foodie, you know.
Yeah, it kind of works together, I guess, right?
Yeah, that's awesome. And man, your role there at Favor is pretty interesting. Like you find new restaurants to add to the app.
Yeah,
to make accessible for people out there. So how do you go about doing that? Like, I mean, is it difficult to find new restaurants? Do restaurants reach out to you to get on the app? Like, how does that happen?
Yeah, it's kind of a mixture. So I would say like maybe 5% of my like leads are inbound. So restaurants reaching specifically out to Favor to get up on the app. And then the rest is me looking for restaurants that I know that people want. So like You know, I know that everyone, well, not everyone, a lot of people love sushi. So looking for good restaurants that have good sushi that people would want for delivery. So it's really kind of just like about trying to get into the consumer's mind and knowing what they want and then trying to make those partnerships happen with restaurants.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, how did you? Wow, that's interesting. How do you learn that? Like, how do you? Because you don't think like a consumer. A lot of people, they just think, okay, I need businesses. Where do I start? And they start somewhere else. But you're thinking like in the mind of
I
the
think
consumer.
I think that's just part of like who I am and how I've always been. Like, I always try to put myself in whoever the customer is, like whatever job I'm doing, like what do they want and trying to achieve that. And I think that's what anybody who's in hospitality, that's excellent at what they do. They try to put themselves in their customer's shoes and try to accomplish what the customer wants.
Yeah, hospitality. That's big. That's a big one right there. So your role is senior account executive.
Yeah.
That sounds huge.
It's not as fancy as it sounds. Yeah.
So, has it allowed you to support local businesses?
I think so. So my main focus at Favor is to partner with local businesses. We have a national team who work with corporations. So the majority of what I do is going after smaller and sometimes regional brands. So for example, like I can kind of work after going after like Shipley's if they're owned by a franchisee. But as far as like Whataburger, like I personally would never go after them because they're more of a corporate account. So my job is to go after small local businesses and bring them valuable customers that are ready to spend money with them.
Yeah, there's a restaurant that was sponsoring us for a while, El Vago Burger and Barbecue. Have you tried them out?
I haven't. They are on my like mental list of places I need to go.
Yeah. Oh my!
I've heard a lot of good things.
Yeah, it's delicious. You should try them out. I was thinking about them because like, is there certain criteria that restaurants have to meet in order to be a part of Favor?
I mean, not necessarily. So like we don't do like, home-based kitchens, things like that. So it has to be like an actual like restaurant.
Like brick and mortar place?
Like a brick and mortar. I mean, maybe a ghost kitchen as well. You know what I mean? We do work with those.
Oh, okay.
So there's some restaurants who have like their regular, business, and then they'll have like an extra concept within the business that they do just for delivery. But they're still a brick and mortar restaurant after all. So you have to be a brick and mortar restaurant. And then other than that, really my ideal partner would have like consistent hours. You know what I mean? They're not like changing it up every other week.
Yeah.
They're staying consistent. They keep their menu relatively consistent, maybe change it every now and then.
Yeah.
Like if you have a daily special, like, okay, but if you're changing your menu every single week, that can get a little like taxing, for Favor to have to change it constantly.
Yeah.
So really that's pretty much it. Just someone who's like, kind of ready to try to grow. Even if that's incrementally, and just 10 extra orders a day can really add up over time.
Do you see the restaurants that you've added? Like, do you see them growing?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Well, like, for example, we are partnered with Kiko's, and, Kiko's has had a very long-standing brand that they've built themselves. But they do very, very well on Favor delivery.
Wow.
And, this year they opened a second location. And, I'm sure they could have done that without us. But I'm sure, like, having that extra income from Favor doesn't hurt.
Nice. That's amazing. And we're talking, so no shade on food trucks, but food trucks are difficult, right? Because they move around and maybe their hours change.
Right.
Have you had any food trucks, or are there any on the app at all?
Yeah. So I have a food truck. They just changed their name. I'm not sure what their new name is. I actually need to figure that out. It was called Seven Seas.
Yeah. On Weber and at the Hamlin Shopping Center?
Yes, exactly. So they are partnered. I just need to like get everything updated since they changed their name, because I think their food truck like caught on fire.
Oh, seriously?
So, yeah.
Oh my God.
I was unfortunate. So I think they had to like replace that food truck. So I think with the replacement, they ended up changing the name. So I know that they've done pretty well. I also just partnered one in Kingsville who has like a permanent spot. It's called like Tremendo's Tacos. Trying to think who else. I was partnered with Sushiria, but he is moving. So, that's hard.
Yeah, Derek, we're going to have him on.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, he is
He's
awesome.
one of my besties.
Oh, he's always been real cool with me. I went to Del Mar with him, and then I think A&M for a time, but he's always real chill. He's a cool dude. Bass player, awesome bass player. Yeah, we're gonna have him on. So Sushiria, shout out Sushiria.
Yeah.
So what are some of the challenges and rewards of working with local businesses through Favor?
Challenges. I think what's challenging with working with any restaurant owner is just that they're so busy, and understandably so. But sometimes trying to, make meetings work and try to fit time into their schedule, or just getting in a hold of them in general, even if they want to work with me and they're excited to work with me, sometimes getting things, rolling with them can be a challenge. But that's really like the main one is just, I have to stay persistent. And try to not feel like I'm being annoying.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I'm pretty sure there's some places like, man, if you had Favor, you would actually, you know what I mean? But they like you said, some of them, like you said earlier, some of them don't feel like they're equipped. When in your eyes, you're like, no, you are. Like,
yeah, like you've got this, believe me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that's awesome. So you doing? So next topic, we're talking about social media management. So how do you feel about, let me see, what do I got here? You manage multiple restaurants, social media pages. How do you approach creating content that stands out?
Oh gosh. Really, I think I just try to like fit the vibe, and that can sometimes be harder because you're not shooting in your style. You're trying to find like the style of the restaurant itself. So like Nueces Whiskey Library has a very different vibe from Bellino's. And while they're still similar, they kind of have that like elevated feel.
Wow.
Like Nueces is kind of more like moody, whereas Bellino's is, I don't know, like it just has that finer dining essence. So really I'm just trying to like really represent the brands like as they are, so that like what to expect, and I'm not presenting something that you're not going to experience. I'm not making it look better than it is, which they're both excellent concepts, so don't get me wrong there. But I'm trying to portray what they really are, so that like you can know what to expect when you're coming in to see us.
That's awesome. Wow. So how did you get into like doing it for, I guess, managing social media for other companies?
Really? It just kind of fell into my lap, to be honest. I was just doing what I, just managing my own account, and did some collaborations with Bellino's. And then they asked me, hey, would you be interested in helping us run our social media? And I was like, yeah. So cool. I've been doing that for a couple months. And I've been doing my own social media for like years and years and years. So this is not something necessarily new to me. I've been doing photography for like half my life.
Wow.
So that's not something new to me either. I just never really like put it out to the world that I did that stuff. Yeah. So the more I kind of have put it out there, it's just people have asked me. I didn't seek it out. It just came to me.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. So just by you creating your own content, they reached out to you.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So small businesses, what are some common mistakes you see small businesses make on social media? How can they avoid them?
Just like super simple things. Not having a link to your website on your social media. Not having your address on your social media. I will be scrolling on Instagram and on Reels and see something that looks awesome. I go to their page to try to figure out where they are. Like, are they in Houston, Dallas, San Antonio? Where are they? Can't figure it out.
Oh, wow.
So people should be able to figure out quickly where you are. And if they can't, then that's a mistake.
Wow.
Even just having a highlight on your Instagram page or something, just like where, location, hours, that kind of thing, that can be super helpful. And a lot of people don't do that, which I think is funny because it's so simple. They just don't think of it.
Wow, so interesting. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, I don't know why they don't think of it. Like, there's a lot of companies too that don't have social media, and if they did have social media, you know what I mean, they would get more business.
For sure. I think we live in an age where people, at least I feel like a lot of people I know, they want to kind of go into these places feeling prepared. Like before you go to a restaurant, you want to see the menu. You want to see like, is there even something I like there? And if you can't find their menu online, you're like, well, I don't know. Like if you're going with friends, I guess I'll figure something out, right? They've got to at least have a salad, something. So, but I feel like a lot of our younger generation, like they want to know what to expect before they go. And so most people are researching the menu. They want to have their drinks planned out. They want to have their appetizers planned out. They want to have their entree planned out.
Like getting,
they want to plan
like your outfit plan. Like
should I have a smaller meal so I can eat dessert? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what's the vibe of the restaurant? I want to know what to wear. Wow. So like, if you don't have those things available to people, like you may be missing out on a big segment of customers who would otherwise come to see you.
Man, how do you know that people look at it like that?
Because that's who I am.
Wow, that's amazing.
I like to know, like, you know, especially if I'm like traveling to San Antonio, like where have I not been to eat?
Is that part of the reason why it's hard for y'all to decide where to eat?
Probably. Also, everyone always puts it on me, like, Haley, you're the one who knows everything. You pick where we're going, and I'm like, I always pick. Someone else pick.
You're like, okay, so what time? Like, okay,
what day? Let me see what I have saved on my Instagram folders, because I have like folders for like every major city, like in Texas. That's awesome. So I can know, like, oh, I'm traveling to Houston. I want to go try that, you know, Middle Eastern restaurant that I haven't been to yet. Yeah. Or whatever.
Amazing. Yeah. So how do you balance managing your content and the businesses you manage content for?
Yeah, it's really just a lot of like planning my schedule ahead, which is hard for me because like every day in Favor looks different. You know, someone might be like, hey, I'm available right now, and this is the only time I'm available this week. Come right now. Come meet me right now to sign on Favor. I'm like, okay. So a lot of times I'm having to, you know, drop what I'm doing to go meet with restaurants because I have to take care of my number one job, which is Favor.
Right.
And, you know, a lot of the stuff I do with restaurants is in my spare time. So I'm doing it on my lunch break. I'm doing it after my normal work hours, on the weekends, you know, whatever that may look like. So really having to schedule things is super important for me to like stay on top of everything I'm trying to accomplish.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah. So when you're posting for your the businesses that you post for, do you have is it like I got to do 2 posts a day? Yeah, it is something like that. Or
sometimes. So like for some specific ones, like it also depends on what the restaurant owner wants from me. So some restaurants are like, I just want you to do 4 to 5 posts a week, or I only want 2 posts a week. And then, you know, like they're paying me based on what their expectations are of me. So if I'm expected to only post 2 times a week, I'll try to look at like, you know, the analytics and see like when are our followers most active and try to post during those times. Or if we have like specials going on and we want to make sure that our followers know like, hey, we have this special tonight, then I'll try to post like before dinner time so that as people are, you know, scrolling after work and they're like, oh, let's go eat here because that special sounds great, or, you know, whatever it might be.
Yeah, no, those analytics, man, that's huge. Yeah. For sure, man. You see when
it's a great tool.
Yes, for sure. Oh my God. Yeah. So you have small business consulting? Is that something you do?
I can. Yeah. So
but what is that anyway?
Really, like it can be a lot of things. So if a business like just doesn't know, like, you know, you want to get started with a business and you don't really know what all to do, I can sit down with you, walk you through what that looks like.
Wow.
So like, hey, this is how you file for your tax ID. Hey, this is how, like, some different like website platforms you can use. And you can build your own website because it's super easy because they have templates. It really just depends on like what somebody wants to do as far as like what general direction I'm leading them. Really, it all it is like leading them to doing all the things that they need to do themselves. It's not doing things for them necessarily, or maybe it is showing them how to use QuickBooks. Right. You know what I mean? Like, hey, these are things that you can expense. I don't know if you knew that. Like, you can expense your mileage if you're traveling for business.
Wow.
It's all kinds of things.
That's something you learned with your mom, running your mom? Wow,
yeah, definitely. Yeah, working with my mom, I like did everything. All the accounting, all the marketing. She did most of the SEO, but I helped with it.
Wow. Do you design websites or? Yeah.
Yeah, I did my own.
Like actual code, or like working with the templates?
So I used to be able to do HTML. No one uses that really anymore. So I do not do the new stuff. If you want that, I can lead you to someone who can.
Cool.
I know people who do, but I am not your smarty pants. That's not me.
So what's the process you take with a new client for social media management or consulting?
I mean,
I guess you kind of mentioned it, right?
yeah,
Like just whatever they.
Really, it's just like, hey, like, what do you want to accomplish? And like, what are your expectations of me? And, you know, sometimes maybe they want to accomplish something that 2 posts a week is not going to do. So it's like, hey, like, I understand that you don't think you need to post that much, but you actually need to post more. Or, you know, maybe they just want to, you know, when people go to their social media, they just want to have all the vital information there. So maybe they really only need 1 post a week because they're not really trying to grow on social. They just want to have the vital information there for people, their menu, their
like
hours.
An info page or something.
Essentially just informational. So maybe you really only need to post once a week if you don't really care about growth. It all just comes down to finding out what their goals are and coming up with how I can align with them to get that accomplished.
Do you think restaurants need a website, or you think social media will do that for them?
It just depends. I think it's beneficial because when you Google a restaurant and, you know, my first instinct is to look for their website because typically it's more likely that they manage that more than anything else. You know what I mean? So if I want the most accurate menu, I usually look at their website. Because some people will like put their menu on Facebook, but it'll be like updated in 2017. So you're like, that's probably not accurate pricing. So like typically I want to go to their website and see their accurate menu so I know what I'm getting myself into. Am I spending $100 or am I spending $20? Like, what am I looking at here? So I think it's beneficial to have websites. They don't have to be super fancy. You just need all the basic information.
You don't have to be like 5 pages.
Yeah, like maybe 3 pages max. Like an About Us, a menu page, and then like your home page. You know, it doesn't have to be that crazy.
Yeah, that's cool. What's some advice you would give small businesses looking to expand their reach?
My advice would be to really try to like honestly grow your social media if you want to reach new people, because that's where most people find things now. You know what I mean? Like they're looking for social media to tell them what they want, essentially. You know what I mean? That's kind of how the algorithm works. It finds out what you like and it pushes that stuff out to you.
It'll leave you on your phone all day.
So if you want to find people who like what you have, then push it out on social media because the algorithm's working in your favor. You know what I mean? It's pushing out who's most likely to like your stuff. So that is a huge benefit to be on social media, but also to not be afraid of change. So like, you know, keep doing what's always worked for you, but also look out to like, are my products what people still want today? And, you know, if not, then evaluate like, hey, what could we change? What could we add? What works? What doesn't work? And try to kind of like evolve with the times. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
that's big.
Yeah.
Yeah, so. I was talking to a radio host last time, and he was saying how the radio basically evolves with the times, and that's how one stays around for a long time. It's very interesting. Do you find that sponsored ads or ads help the businesses, or?
I don't know. I feel like if you're gonna spend your time doing an ad, make it worth your time. Make it something that like really truly represents your product, because I see a lot of people sponsor ads that I'm like, if I didn't already know you and know what your product was, I would have no idea what I'm looking at.
Wow.
So like, don't like, even though Facebook ads, Instagram ads are pretty cheap, you know what I mean? Like you can probably spend $10 and like reach 700 people or something, but like is that grabbing customers? Because if I don't know what that is, I'm not going to click it. You know what I mean? So
make sure
it represents your product well if you're going to do it.
Wow. Yeah. Do you use them, or like for any of your businesses?
I haven't started using them with any of the restaurants I work with. I'm going to, but I have used them pretty heavily with my mom's business.
Oh, right on.
Yeah. And it usually like does well. The conversion rate's usually pretty good.
That's cool.
So it kind of just depends on just be smart with your ads. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's cool. That's awesome. So small business, cause so you passion for travel? Do you still travel or?
I try to. It's
kinda
I have a
hard.
4-year-old, so it's really hard.
Yeah.
I have like, full-time job and all this other stuff I do on the side. So mostly my trips are like short, like San Antonio,
Yeah.
Houston, Austin. I have family in East Texas, so maybe we'll go visit them. I went to New York in early December last year, and that was super fun.
Nice.
And I think we're gonna go again in like maybe November. So really, it's only like maybe a couple trips a year that are like outside of Texas. But for the most part, it's like close to
Yes.
Corpus.
Yeah,
because
not too far. Yeah.
I gotta like make the most of my time,
Oh, for
like
sure.
and so that usually means staying close.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Having
going
that.
to
Having
Port A
that.
this weekend.
Yeah.
For real though.
Yeah, for real. Do you have a favorite city that you like to explore?
Honestly, I really love going to San Antonio.
Really? Wow.
Like I feel like it's so spread out. There's like a lot of, like you can go to like one area and spend like the whole day. You know what I mean? You can go shopping and find places to eat and like find a unique coffee shop or a unique bakery or, like whatever. And also I really love going to New York. That's like,
Yes.
it's, you can only do so much in so like a short amount of time. So,
Yeah, for sure.
and honestly, flights are not bad to go there. It's like from San Antonio, it's like 200 and something bucks round trip.
Cool.
It's not bad. So the expensive part is getting when you're there.
Yeah.
Hotel, food,
Oh.
everything's super expensive.
Yeah.
But getting there is not bad. So,
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely. Oh yeah, we've been there. We've been there once, man. It is nice.
yeah.
Yeah, it is very nice. Those all the buildings and the old man. It's awesome. We took the subway everywhere. I mean, we rarely took cabs, but we took the subway.
Nice.
Most every place is. We tried New York pizza. I can't remember the place, but we just wanted to try some type of pizza from New York.
Like the 99-cent pizza.
Yeah, not. I don't remember what. It
Maybe
might
better
have
than
been.
that.
And then
Hey, honestly, it wasn't bad.
they have those little push cart. The little guys, they have those push carts where they sell food. This guy was selling like peanuts, like sugar. Oh man, you could smell it around the corner. I'm like, dude, we got to get some of those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Broadway. We went to a Broadway show. What did we see? A School of Rock. We saw
Nice.
the live School of Rock. It was
That's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah, it was cool. So, what are some future goals or projects that you have for yourself?
I feel like I'm constantly so busy that it's rare that I sit back and look at like the bigger picture. I feel like I used to be a much bigger person, like bigger picture person, but
Really?
now I'm just like running all over the
It's
place.
because you got so much going on right now that you.
Yeah, it's hard for me to think of like what is next, but I just want to keep growing with Favor. I love my job. I don't plan to leave anytime soon. I really, really love it. So just hopefully like keep growing the Corpus market here with Favor and, my other markets like Victoria. And then honestly, just like personally, like my goal with my social media is not necessarily to keep growing numbers wise. I mean, sure, it's great. Like my goal is to always support local business and to bring awareness to them. So like my growth will hopefully only benefit them. But I just want to keep, supporting local business, helping them grow because it's hard to start a business here in Corpus. It's hard to start a business anywhere. So any support I can provide them, the better. If they do well, I do well. That's how I feel.
Wow, that's a cool way to look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, so do you see the role of social media evolving for small businesses in the next few years?
I mean, I don't know. It's hard to know because I feel like times keep changing more and more and more, and I feel like it's almost hard to know what's next. I don't think social media is going away anytime soon. So I do think it's still important to invest in your social media and to try to grow it. But the other thing too is I think people think it's harder than it really is. Do you know what I mean? I think that people think oh, I have to be like super good at photography to manage my own social media. I have to be super good at technology.
I don't want to put a video of myself or
or like I don't want to be on camera or whatever. And I'm like, well, you don't even have to be. I'm not on camera that often on my page. Like every now and then, my voice isn't even on my page that often.
I noticed that. You got
every
music.
now and then I'll do a voiceover, but also I hate my voice. So that's part of the reason. So yeah, back to like kind of like the importance of social media and business and like how things evolve. I really don't know what's going to happen, but I think like you just kind of have to keep pushing for growth. Your in-person sales in a restaurant or in your business, in like trying to gain every customer that you can. You know what I mean? Like open yourself up to every avenue, including if you're a restaurant, including delivery, including having online ordering for like so people can just place your order ahead and come pick it up.
Yeah.
Because people like want things fast. They want everything fast. So if they think it's me faster to place an order online and then drive to you and come pick it up, they're going to do it. So if you're limiting yourself by not having things like that, then, you're losing potential customers.
You're not staying up with the market. You're not staying up. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So just don't be afraid to evolve, I guess, is my thing. And things change so fast every single day.
Yeah.
It's hard to know where things are going to go.
Yeah, it seems like when you're trying to take that step, there's always that fear of failing, right? Mm-hmm. Do you personally like? How do you find yourself enduring something that you may think that you're going to fail at?
Oh, that's hard. I think, I don't know. Like I definitely like have gotten in my head before. Like maybe I've been scared to approach like what I perceive as like a big restaurant concept.
Wow.
Because that they're more likely to say no to you. So it's not like almost like fear of rejection and trying to overcome that. And what I've always tried to remind myself and what I remind my teammates is that if you don't ask, the answer is no anyway. So that's kind of how I try to just push forward. Yeah. And just try to be like, you know what, whatever. Like, I'm not going to remember this in 2 weeks. So like, just do it. You know what I mean? Like it can only hurt myself if I don't try, Yeah.
It's like you end your work week and you go home and you're like, you hate like for me, I'm like, oh man, those people, what they did. You get home, you see your kids and your wife, you're like, man, this is fun. This is where your mindset changes. You're like, I'm glad I'm here. This is what I'm doing it for.
Yeah, you do it for your family. Like remembering your like why you're doing what you're doing is super important too. You know what I mean? Like you have like family members depending on you, and just like your own personal like success. Like like you're kind of competing against yourself at the end of the day.
Yes, exactly.
Competing against your own ego, like not wanting to be told no, so you just don't ask.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
overcoming yourself. Like
it's hard.
Having your own obstacles. Well, thanks for coming on the show. Is there anything else you'd like to share? Sorry for the live viewers. Sorry, you guys. We'll post this here. So
technology, it happens.
Yeah, it happens. So is there anything you'd like to share?
I really can't think of anything specific, but thank you so much for having me on. And, I guess my takeaway for people is like, don't be afraid to put yourself out there. You don't have to be perfect to start your own social media. If you are passionate about something, if you have any kind of creativity in you, just put it out there. It doesn't have to be perfect. I think people get in their head that think like, well, I don't have that many followers, or I don't know, I'm not that good, or whatever. It doesn't matter. If you want to scroll all the way down to the bottom of my Instagram and look how bad it was when I started, that can be your motivation right there. So
go back to number one.
Or like look me up on some of my old accounts. They're not that good.
So. Some people don't leave them up. Like, but
they like archive them. Yeah. I feel that.
That's cool, man. Good advice. Thanks for doing that. So we follow you. So we find you LocalTxFoodie, no spaces.
Yeah, LocalTxFoodie on Instagram, TikTok, and my Facebook would be local_TX_foodie, and then my website is www.localtexasfoodie.com.
Nice. All right.
That's me.
Well, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks a lot, everybody, thank you for watching, you guys. Stay tuned for the next episodes. Like, subscribe, and share this video or this post or whatever so we can get some other people watching it. Thanks a lot, you guys. Have a good one.
Thanks.